let's have a session on price penetration. So price penetration is when you start with a low initial price, and the idea is a low initial price because you're looking to enter a market, a new market with maybe a new product. And you're doing that with hope that in the future that you can gradually start to increase those prices. Now, this is common in products such as mobile contracts, broadband contracts, that's been happening in this country, in the UK, and also it can be seen with streaming platforms. We've seen that Boom, a streaming company, decided to, many years ago, a decade ago, start with very low prices in the UK, and then they've gradually brought those prices up year after year as we become loyal and we like the product. Now, with price penetration, why do it? You're penetrating the market, you're starting with that low price to stimulate demand. The law of demand, low prices, high demand. And that should encourage consumers to switch away from the rivals in that market towards you, and they'll move to your product at least temporarily. Well, essentially they were trying your product, and if your product actually has the quality, then they become brand loyal, repeat customers in the future, and then you can start to increase the prices in the long term. So when you're thinking about stimulating your demand, you're really focusing on those price sensitive customers. If we're thinking about price elasticity of demand, those customers that are elastic in terms of their price elasticity of demand. And the objective here will be likely you're doing it to grow market share, you're doing it because it's a new product and you're trying to get more sales within that market and you want people to buy it. You're entering a new market. Or you might be doing it as well because you're looking to support the growth of the market size. Now, how you're going to implement price penetration and maximize its success? Well, firstly, you want to do market research. You want to gauge how customers will fare if you start with that low price. And if you're really aggressive with your price penetration, that's you bring down the prices very, very low at first. Well, you could use your market research to try and ascertain how many sales you're going to make. And if you work out, you forecast how many sales you're going to make, then you can link that with your operations department in terms of how many you're going to produce. And if you've gone with a really low price and you forecast very high sales, then it's likely you'll produce a lot. So you might be able to foster economies of scale and bring down that cost per unit because the output's so big. Now, also be thinking about if you're using price penetration, you'll want to have an effective marketing surrounding it. And therefore, you'll want to think about your segmentation. Have you appropriately targeted the correct segment and positioned yourself accordingly? And also, you'll want to think about the appropriate type of promotion for the segment you're targeting. Does it make sense, basically? Is it an integrated marketing mix? Now, the limitations of using price penetration, well, if you're starting with low prices, it's likely to indicate low profit margins, although you could offset that if you're very aggressive and if you manage to forecast your market demand and if you get economies of scale. Lots of ifs there. Now, the next thing to think about is when can you actually increase your prices? Because there's two phases to price penetration. There's the penetrate the market, low prices, and then over time you gradually look to bring those prices up. But when can you do that? And really, will it be successful when you begin to do that? And that probably will come down to how good the product is. If the product is good, customers like it, they keep coming back for more, they become less price sensitive over time because they really love your product, then yeah, you might be able to increase those prices. Also, if you get stuck for a long time in the prices are low phase, well, that might have issues for your brand image because you start to be seen as being a cheaper product within the market. And the final thing to think about is your rivals, because yeah, you might price penetrate, but what are your rivals doing? They might also match you with low prices, and that's going to lead to a price war, and a price war is not going to be good for you. So I hope that helps, and I'll see you at the next session.